Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Sports Hour. I'm, of course, your host, Trevor Howard. With me is Topher Elkins.
Baby.
We did find something so interesting for this NFL topic.
I'm so excited.
From BuffaloRumblings.com, it's draft season. It's NFL draft week. Very, very interesting mock draft. Full 7 rounds for the Buffalo Bills from our boys over at Buffalo Rumblings.
I am so excited, guys. Because I love late round picks. Because late round picks that become good in the NFL are so cool. Also, I'm just gonna throw it out there. This mock draft is whack. There's no shot. If it happens, greatest mock draft I've ever seen. I'm so happy with it, but it's just never happening.
They're never usually perfect. Doesn't really matter.
This one's whack.
This one, you can tell that the guys over there were definitely just playing around with this, having a lot of fun.
They were just like, yeah, what's the ideal situation to get in this? And they're like, okay, yeah, cool, all right.
You know, some of them could be realistic, but
Yeah.
you know, we can get into that real quick. Starting off with the first round, which I don't have a problem with, by the way, if I'm a Bills fan.
Not at all.
At pick 25, Trent McDuffie, cornerback out of Washington College.
No, okay, so literally there are 4 corners. So the only thing that the Bills need to do here is pick corner, and there's 4 corners that it could end up being.
Yep.
Honestly, there's a chance it's 5. Because what is it? It's Trent McDuffie. 1, Kyler Gordon, Andrew Booth, and Kareem Allaire, right? He's
Yeah,
the
but
Florida
the best
one.
is probably either Gordon or McDuffie.
No, it's both the Washington ones, but I'm not upset with. I mean, obviously, the best corner is Sauce, and
of course, Sauce
I've
Gardner,
been seeing things about them trading up, and I was like, because okay, so I want to throw this to you. So Bills trade 25, next year's first, and then next year's second, and you go up to 7. You taking it?
So realistically, this Bills team, if they trade away their first round pick next year, you're probably trading away the 25th, 26th, 27th round pick, probably. But I'd probably
taking that to take Sauce?
Shot. Yeah,
to get
Sauce Gardner, who is legitimately one of the most hyped up corners, defensive backs in this year's draft. I'd absolutely
I'm taking it
without a doubt.
Because realistically, it said so. The trade that I saw was instead of that second, it was AJ Epinesa, and I'm like. I don't know. Getting rid of AJ Epinesa, I don't mind. I think our rotation in terms of pass rush is good right now. But he's the one that kind of falls off, and I'm like, I don't think anyone wants it. He's still on a rookie contract, sure. But I think if you make that trade and you make it a second round pick instead of AJ Epinesa, it really sweetens the load for either the Jets aren't gonna do it, but the Giants.
Yep, the Steelers.
You do it with the Giants, who you have that connection with that head coach already.
That is true.
Oh my God.
Yep.
I don't think it happens, but Brandon Beane can do anything at this point. I don't blame him. And the Bills have some luck at drafting 7th overall. So
I would definitely say that's an understatement.
I mean, hey, we're on the 4th year anniversary of Josh Allen getting picked, so I'm not upset. I'm not upset about it.
Remember the first headline that came out? The Bills took the wrong Josh.
Yeah.
Meaning that they should have taken Josh Rosen.
Yeah, let's read.
That worked out. That worked out well. Let's say that.
We're not bringing up that cold take anymore, guys, because I was on that.
Where's Josh Rosen playing nowadays?
He's not, because it's. I think what is he?
He's probably in the CF.
What team is he actually on? He's on a team.
I think he's on the Dolphins, right? As a backup.
I don't think he is anymore. I think he was on the Commanders now.
Yeah, maybe he's backing up Carson Wentz now.
Oh my God, dude! The NFL.
That is.
Dude. Okay, let's jump right back into this though.
Okay.
Pick 2, baby.
A bit of a reach.
Shot. There's no. It doesn't. Okay, just say it.
Okay. They had this guy falling, running back out of Iowa State, Breece Hall.
Bro, he's not going out of the first round. If he goes out of the first round, he's going pick 1 second round. If we take running back there, it's going to be Kenneth Walker out of shout out to Michigan State. But it's not going to be Breece Hall, dude. He's not falling out of pick 35, let's say.
Yeah.
No, it's just not happening.
And what would cause him to fall down over 20 spots? He really hasn't had a huge history of injuries yet in his career. He's one of the best running backs in this year's draft.
The best running back in the draft.
And it's not like this year's draft is stacked with top elite quarterbacks.
Yeah.
I mean,
no, I don't get it.
I don't understand. This is what we meant by hot takes before we went on the air.
Yeah, no, that one's. I love Breece Hall because realistically, I've seen every mock I've seen. It's Bills taking corner or the Bills taking Breece Hall. Like, it's literally not been anything else. I've seen, like, maybe one where we take another edge rusher, and I'm like, no, dude, no. Those are the two things that are going to happen, and I'm much happier with what... If the Bills get Breece Hall in the second round, dear God.
Hey, they'd be happy with that.
Yeah, I'm not upset by any means at that because the dude's a freak of nature. Like, don't get me wrong.
That also means bye-bye Zach Moss,
Oh,
for
absolutely.
sure.
Oh, I don't... Dude, bye-bye Zach Moss anyway, because
regardless.
Whatever running back we take in this draft, because we're taking a running back at some point, it's probably going to be like third round, I bet. Unless Breece Hall falls in the second round, then yeah, you take him.
Unless the miracle does happen and your prayers are answered.
Unless Buffalo Rumblings knows something we don't, but... Yeah.
Unless the website's run by Brandon Bean and his staff. But let's see. Let's go to pick 3. I really don't have a problem with this one either.
Not at all.
Out of one of the top West Coast colleges in D1, Kyle Phillips, wide receiver out of UCLA.
Oh, he's good. He's very much like... I think he's more like, or he's kind of Gabriel Davis big build, like bigger dude, kind of got some speed, definitely more outside threat than he is like inside
he's
threat.
Strong.
Yeah, like he can probably play the slot, but it's not going to be slot as if like Cole Beasley or like Isaiah McKenzie plays slot. It's going to be more slot of like how Juju did because he was like a bigger dude who played inside and like more kind of like how like who is it that plays really good in the slot? Chris Godwin plays in the slot. Like it's kind of that build.
And he's a bigger guy too.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like if he plays slot, which like people say the Bills kind of need like a little bit, which I don't agree with because we have Jamison Crowder and Isaiah McKenzie, but I have no problem with this pick because like it's West Coast offense. You have and it's like UCLA. I don't know UCLA's quarterback like name off the top of my head, but he's big arm guy, like throws the ball. So
and that conference is one of the best.
It's stacked in terms of like offensive firepower. So it just makes sense.
And going into the 4th round, you were telling me something interesting about this guy before we went on the air that he might not even make it past the 3rd round. This is punter.
Oh, yeah, no
Matt Ariza out of San Diego State. Buffalo Rumblings has the Bills taking him at pick 130 in the 4th round.
No, okay, I will put money on this right now. Without a doubt, this dude is not falling out of the first 4 picks in the 4th round. Like, I have never said this in my life. I watched the combine on a punter. And oh my God, I think he kicked the length of the field. I think it was like an 80-yard punt.
Yeah, he went 83 yards.
Thank you.
Yep.
It was literally insane. I have never once been like, yeah, this pro day made me want us to take a punter in our first 4 picks. Oh my God, after last year, I don't even know who was our punter last year because we lost Bo.
Matt Hawk was the punter.
We lost Boho and we went to Hawk. Dear God, was he terrible, and I would love life. Like, to be fair, these first 4 picks, I love all of them if they happen, but, like, I don't think they're going to happen, so.
I mean, this is a guy at the combine that literally punted it from his own goal line, pinned inside the 20 at the 17.
It was ridiculous.
Outstanding. I mean, they definitely, if they pin their opponents inside the 20 consistently,
dude,
this defensive line is going to swarm them, probably cause as many safeties in the league as possible, and get those DBs out there and get them all warmed up as well.
For sure.
Another wide receiver, this time out of Rutgers in the 5th round, pick 168 overall, Bo Melton. I don't really know much about this guy.
Yeah, like once we get into like these deeper wide receivers, and I kind of fall out, but I have no problem with like stacking wide receivers because like people like to be fair, like I love our wide receiver team we have right now. We're definitely taking wide receiver within our first 3 picks, like
no
without
doubt.
a doubt. It's going somewhere. It's going to be 2 or 3
for depth purposes only, though, right?
I swear, if the Bills do not take corner in the first pick, I'm going to be so mad. Unless some miracle they all go, like unless the only excuse you have is unless you trade down or
Trey White is absolutely 1,000% ready to go.
Even then, you need to take corner. Because, like, Dane Jackson's great, but, like, the depth in corner right now is awful. And besides Taron Johnson being our, like, slot corner.
Yep.
So, like, yes, wide receiver's a great pick. I have no problem with, like, middle round wide receiver. I don't know this guy. I can't say it.
And then last 3 picks, 2 6-rounders and a 7th. You have Daniel Bellinger, tight end out of San Diego State. So they're sticking with the San Diego State thing.
I'm okay.
Tight end, big guy. Malcolm Rodriguez, linebacker out of Oklahoma State, pick 203.
Yep.
And Mikael Wright, cornerback out of Oregon. Because you can't have enough defensive backs, right?
No, completely. So, so if we look at this purely off of position, I have no problem with anything that's back. I will admit, so I follow like a ton of like just Bills fans pages on Instagram, and like I've seen this Daniel Bellinger guy because like they've been showcasing like possible late round picks basically like off of position needs. dude can catch. Like, obviously, like, Dawson not, like, realistically, like, tight end, it's late round, he has a chance to not even make the team. Like, I have no problem taking late round tight end. And then, obviously, like, linebacker is another one, but I'm like, maybe, like, it goes higher. Like, because, like, what is it? It's Tremaine Edmonds and Matt Milano. And, like, Edmonds is on the last year of the contract.
But we think that they're probably, I don't know.
Dude, it's weird.
They could extend him.
It's weird. Like, that's the one. Like, you have other guys you need to extend.
Yeah.
More than Ed.
And the good thing is,
I like Edmonds. Don't get me wrong.
Buffalo has depth.
Yeah.
That's the great thing. So I really don't have a problem with this draft at all. But it's a little outrageous here and there. There are some great, realistic shots on here. But, I mean, the second rounder with Greece, I don't know. I just don't
Only
think that's...
thing, yes or no, Bills trade out of the first round.
They could drop back the second round, fall back. I think they could.
I'm just curious.
So, big things coming up this week. Bills draft. The entire league is drafting. So, we have lots to discuss next week on the NFL. So, stay tuned because in approximately 2 minutes, Brent is going to come on and talk some NHL hockey. So, stay tuned.
No time, just sign on the line at the post office for selective service. Hey guys, if you're about to turn 18, you've got to register with Selective Service. It's simple. Just go down to the post office, fill out a card, and turn it in. That's all there is to it. There's no draft now. You're just adding your name to Selective Service's list in case there's a national emergency. So if you're 18 now, Selective Service, you gotta get down. Register with Selective Service. It's quick, it's easy, and it's the law. Takes no time. Just sign on the line at the post office. Selective Service. We've been down there. You gotta do the same. Post office. All you do is sign. So don't get nervous. Sign your name. Selective Service. It takes no time. Just sign on the line at the post office for Selective Service. Hey guys, if you're about to turn 18, you've got to register with Selective Service. It's simple. Just go down to the post office, fill out a card, and turn it in. That's all there is to it. There's no draft now. You're just adding your name to Selective Service's list in case there's a national emergency. So if you're 18 now, Selective Service, you gotta get down. Register with Selective Service. It's quick, it's easy, and it's the law. Takes no time. Just sign on the line at the post office for Selective Service.
We are back with our NHL segment with our NHL analyst, Mr. Brent Casillo. How's it going?
It's going great, Had a great day today. Feeling fantastic. Here to talk some NHL puck. What better than that?
And I think what we always do to start, we always talk about this Buffalo Sabres. The actually, somewhat fun team to watch. Yep. Buffalo Sabres. The team that is sending Rick Jeanneret off into the sunset, so to speak, this Friday night. I believe that's the 29th, is a Friday. RJ's final call at the KeyBank Center. I heard already that it's going to be a sellout crowd. So 19,070 screaming fans all waiting for RJ's final call. It should be a great one. Buffalo's coming off of a very good weekend, very underrated weekend because they're out of the playoff contention. Nobody's really paying attention. But very good weekend in New Jersey.
Yep.
And a big win against the Islanders. They're going to hopefully take that into Buffalo against the Chicago Blackhawks, a very struggling team, and send RJ off with a big win in his final call.
Yeah, that would just be great to see all around, especially for it being RJ's last night. The guy is a living legend. The amount of games that he's seen, the amount of the iconic calls that he has.
Patty La Fontaine.
Miller
Time, all of them. Mayday.
Top shelf for Mama Hides, the cookies. He's got them all. And you know what? He's seen a lot of the Sabres. Good times, bad times. He's been through it all. So, hopefully the Sabres can pull it out and get the win that day because they did get the win against Nashville for his that night.
First RJ night, yep.
RJ night, yeah, that's what it was called. So pull out the win there. So hopefully they could, repeat and do it again for them. But talking about their games a little bit last week, got some big news. Owen Power.
OP.
OP, baby. Scoring his
Yeah,
first.
you know me.
Yeah, you do know me. OP. Scoring his first NHL goal. And, I mean, sure, it might not have been like the prettiest goal, some people
But
may
he's a
say, but he's a
defenseman.
defenseman, and the play happened in our zone from a turnover. We give it up to Skinner. He comes down,
Kinda falls down, yep.
down a little bit. OP being that offensive defenseman, Darlene type of guy.
Johnny on the spot.
Johnny on the spot, right there. Slips it in 5 under the goalie's pad, and
that's pretty much all she wrote.
That's all she wrote.
After he scored, the floodgates opened and the Sabres started to pile it on the Devils. And Lindy Ruff actually congratulated Owen Power on his first goal. He's the head coach of the New Jersey Devils now, and he's still got those Buffalo ties. So of course, Lindy Ruff, being the true professional that he is, showed OP his congratulations. And I think Skinner, after he fell down and that puck went in the net, he went right into the net to grab it and gave it to him.
Yep. Right away. No hesitation, went right in the net. And honestly, the goalie looked like Del Post a little bit. I mean,
I would definitely, maybe he even kind of looked like Divis a little bit too. Maybe even Somchak.
Yeah,
one of the two.
One of them. I mean, they just gonna get down in time. But shout out Owen Power getting the first goal under his belt. We love seeing that. And you know what? Yeah, the Sabres. It's getting to the end of the season. Only a few games left. So there's not really much more to talk about besides the RJ night and all that that's coming up for the future. But next season is definitely going to be. I'm excited for it. Buffalo fans also should be excited for it. And I was checking some of the things today, and one of the old players that we had.
You mean Mr. Eichel? Before you say anything, I have to throw in a tidbit for you. Ever since March 10th, since we were up in the suites after that game, the Buffalo Sabres, on their average wins since that time to now, on a yearly span, if they played like this all year, they would be on pace to score and tally 108 points in a season. That is more than enough to clinch a playoff spot. That's probably like top 2.
I didn't even see that
in
stat.
the division. If they played like that since October at that pace, they would have been on pace for 108 points in that season and clinched the playoffs for the first time in 11 years.
Wow.
But you were mentioning Jack Eichel. Thought I'd throw that tidbit out there.
I mean, I didn't even see that stat, but yeah, that's great. I was actually thinking about that like earlier today too, because I was like, we almost went positive. Like right now we're 31-38. I don't know how many overtime losses or whatever, but
all those points add up, though.
All the points add up, and we didn't start even like becoming or even getting looked at as like potentially, being the top 5 in our division or being close to a neutral or positive record, and just seeing them being only 7 games off. Obviously, they're not going to catch it now with only like 3-4 games left, but 7 games off from being even and then just almost being able to go positive.
It really makes you think. If they played well in January, if they just won half of those games in January, they'd still be in contention. They'd probably be 2 games off the pace, and it'd be a race for the finish.
Yeah.
And you'd have the Chicago game. Who we play? We play the Islanders one more time, I think.
One more time.
Those are winnable games now.
Yeah.
Like if you played well in December and January, you could be in a playoff spot right now.
Yep.
If you picked it up after you started off like 3-0 in October, and they kind of fell off in November. November, December, January, those months were not very good.
Yeah.
If they played just half as good as they did, they'd probably be close to a playoff spot right now.
Oh yeah, 100%. I agree. And like, especially next season, if they can just fix that, with having that 1 to 2 month span when they have that major downfall, because they tend to just do for this. I don't know why, but we just have that consistency of having that 1 to 2 month span of just not being able to play hockey and losing
Typically,
every
it's
game.
February and March, but we dominated in March.
I mean, we had a winning record in March.
Yeah, we did. That was
First time in like, what, 5
the
years?
last 3 seasons before this one. We only had 3 wins combined in the month of March and like 30 plus losses.
I mean,
and then something like sparked, maybe like the little light bulb in your head. It's like your lights are on.
Your lights
and
are on.
The light kind of came on in their head.
Yeah.
And they finally found out how to play hockey. It's like the lights were on.
They were off, but then someone told them that the lights were on, and they figured it out. So I'm glad that they did. But I'm excited to see what comes next season because of all that. But yeah, Jack Eichel. Jeez, buddy.
Yikes.
I mean, not a great look right now. 0 points in 4 games. The West is looking crazy all around. There's let's see, Nashville, Dallas, Vegas, and Edmonton and Vancouver.
Dallas and Nashville are neck and neck tied in points.
Neck and neck, yeah. And Vegas is like a point behind Nashville. Dallas is 1-2 behind Vegas. It's very, very wild in the West right now. And
the wild, wild west,
wild,
baby.
Wild West. And I don't know if Vegas is like.
Vegas just came off a shootout loss, a
San
choke
Jose,
job
to
the
rookie,
Sharks.
To a rookie.
And they had the 2-goal lead in that one. The Sharks came back, forced overtime, and Vegas lost it in the shootout. It looked like Game 7 all over again.
Yep.
What year was that? 2019, where they were up 4-1 in Game 7. The Sharks came back after that 5-minute major, and they won it 5-4 in regulation. It gave me those vibes all day. And for the first time in their existence, the Vegas Golden Knights can miss the playoffs. And guess who's not on their team anymore? And guess who is on their team still? They're missing Alex Tuch and Peyton Krebs. And they have Jack Eichel. What are the fans? I don't know, truthfully, why. How?
I don't even know how the Vegas fans. I don't know how they're feeling right now. I mean,
Eichel got what he wanted, right? He wanted to go to a contender. He wanted to go to a place where he can win the Stanley Cup, or at least go to the playoffs. Mm-hmm. Connor McDavid has been to the playoffs twice in his career. I think maybe, you know what, he might be a little fed up with the organization because they're not really building a team around him and Draisaitl as much as they should. But he's been in the playoffs before. Eichel gets traded to the West. Is in McDavid's division. Everyone's like, this is going to be the talk of the town. Vegas and Edmonton is going to be the future of the West. I'm not really seeing that.
Yeah.
Whatsoever.
No, not at all.
For all we know, it could be Dallas and Nashville and Calgary that are in charge of the West in the years to come, but nobody really knows.
I mean, yeah, it's just crazy to see because, like, I feel like before, like, in past years, the West has always been that division that's had, like, those top contender teams out of the whole league, but now it's kind of shifted over to the East. I mean, you look at the East compared to the West in like points and goal differential. I mean, given like Colorado is like whatever, they're gross, but
they're amazing.
You look at the point differences, and it's like the top 5 in the East have, or I would say top 3 or 4 have 100 points already.
Yep.
And then in the West, it's only like I think 2 teams right now that hit the 100-point mark.
Yeah.
And it's just crazy to see. And still talking about playoffs. I mean, if playoffs were to start today, I'm just going to talk about the West because the East is like honestly pretty locked. Besides just Washington and I think it's Boston and Pittsburgh because Washington's only a point behind Pittsburgh, but with the goal differential, I don't think they'll end up beating them.
Right now, I don't even know. If I try to fill out a bracket, it would be busted because there's no way that you can get this perfect in the East. Florida and Washington, that would go to 6 or 7 for sure.
Easily.
Toronto and Tampa,
7.
Tampa's going to win in 5,
or
okay?
5. Actually, yeah, because Toronto chokes.
Can't ever win in the first round. That might be the only lock. Carolina, Carolina's pretty flashy, but Boston's been here before. Mm-hmm. That would probably go to 6 or 7. Rangers and Pens. That's 100% going to 7 games.
Yeah,
that's going to 7 for sure.
That's an easy guess right there.
But in the West, Calgary, Nashville, as of right now, if the season ended right now, Edmonton, LA, Colorado, Dallas, St. Louis, and Minnesota. Again.
What? I don't know.
Vegas and Vancouver are just on the outside looking in.
Exactly, and you can even because some of these obviously the seed Calgary is a 1 seed, Nashville would be at the 4th or the last whatever, and it's would that even be considered that big of an upset? Because those are two good teams, and then even in the East too, Florida and Washington. If if that ends up being the case and Washington wins that series, if people are gonna look at that as a huge upset because Florida's won, and it's in my opinion, there really is no 1, 2, 3, 4 because all these teams are just so like they're just all really good playoff contender teams, and exactly what you said. Looking at I literally will not be able to choose a winner between any of these series and how many games it could go to.
Well, if you watch the NHL playoffs, don't be surprised about any upset. I mean, I keep going back to 2019 because the 126-point Tampa Bay Lightning lost to the second wild card team in the Columbus Blue Jackets in 4 games. The second wild card team swept the President's Trophy winner 4 games.
Yeah.
So
literally
all you have to
anything
do
could
to win the
happen.
cup, that's why we get so aggravated talking about the Sabres, is because some teams, all you have to do is make the playoffs and you're instantly a cup contender. And the Sabres just fail to go there every year. We're just saying, if the Sabres can just squeak into the playoffs, they could be cup contender. Everybody that goes to the playoffs is a cup contender because there's no such thing as a guaranteed series win.
I mean, dude, look at Vegas. First year in the league. Nobody even thought they would go to playoffs.
Going all the way to the finals. Forcing Game 6.
Final, yeah, against Washington, who, granted, always struggled against Crosby and the Penguins second round. Could never beat them. That was always a problem.
Beat them in 5, right?
Then went to Tampa, and smoked them by 5 or 6 the first game. Went up 2-0. Tampa got 1, and then they ended
6 or something like that.
5.
1 in 5 in the conference
4-1.
finals. Yep.
Yeah, and
I knew instantly when Kuznetsov scored against the Penguins to clinch the series, I'm like, Washington's winning the cup. That's it.
Yeah, honestly, I think a lot of people could agree with that. Seeing that iconic bird celly
Kick the
right
penguin.
there, kick the penguin. Yeah, I mean,
that was great.
That one was great. But tonight is a crazy night for the NHL. Probably one of the biggest nights
talk about
of
a
the last
Dreamweaver kind
week.
of night, you know what I mean?
Talk about a Dreamweaver Robo Boogie kind of night right now. I mean, we got the Oilers, Penguins. Oilers are up 4-1. Hurricanes are up 4-1 on the Rangers. That's pretty shocking.
But Carolina's turning it
Islanders
on.
took a 2-goal lead on Caps. They're up 3-1.
The Leafs.
Golden Knights are up 1 on Dallas. Go Dallas, by the way. But, a lot of great games tonight. Flames, Predators tied at 1. Panthers, Bruins. Bruins are up 3-2.
Both teams that have already locked up their spot.
Yeah, both. Yep. I'm honestly looking more towards the west side because, these teams are all close in points and they're all playing each other. So it's it's just crazy.
The West is what you want to watch right now.
Yeah,
East is pretty much clinched, but I think the East is going to be the best playoff hockey to watch.
Out of these games tonight, just for the West, who do you think's coming out with the wins?
I'm going to say Vegas wins. I'm being completely honest. I think that Vegas holds on to it. They're probably going to win 3-1, but some of the other games, it's really kind of hard to say. The Wild will beat the Robo Coyotes, absolutely. Yeah. They'll beat those Robo Boogies, and the Predators will probably hold on to it against Calgary. So. We're going to the playoffs in just a couple weeks. So
I think next week will
be the start of the playoffs, right?
Yep.
So that's going to be big. So come back next week for our NHL segment. And in approximately 1 minute, we're going to have Topher on to talk some NBA playoffs. So don't go away. Huh?
Did you know dragging chains can spark a wildfire?
Only you can prevent wildfires.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move. So I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
Topher, it's been such a long time since you've been back on the show. I hope you didn't miss me too much. But we are here to talk some NBA basketball. I don't really know what this Robo Boogie is doing back here.
Guys,
but it's supposed to be NBA. This is just a bunch of Robo
pause?
Boogie.
Pause. Wait for it. It'll work. Give it a second. Hey, yo, Brent, click it once.
You know what?
Whatever. Okay.
This is
Guys,
the new NBA
I
logo.
don't know F1. It's okay. We're just gonna talk about NBA though.
NBA playoffs in full effect right now. Still in the quarterfinals. Some teams have already clinched their spot in the semifinals.
Right? It's one.
That
game.
is one. And James Harden. I think we need to start off with this first. James Harden and the Brooklyn Nets are going home. The Boston Celtics took the brooms out
You mean
and swept
Kevin Durant?
them. Kevin Durant. I don't know why I always get those guys mixed up. And yeah, okay, there's just...
Get him off the screen. Please get him off. I understand. I know it's F1. Get him off the screen. All right. Bring it back in. All right.
Kevin Durant and the Brooklyn Nets were swept by the Boston Celtics. Oh, my God.
Hey, yo, how about... Yo, I don't like Boston, but, like... I like Kyrie. Oh, that's wrong, too, guys.
We're
close?
Yeah,
We're close?
nope, that's not it either.
It starts with an N.
Keep going.
It starts with an N.
Keep
You're
going,
close.
Robo Boogie. Keep
It's
going.
in there somewhere.
Oh, my
No,
God.
that's really
Are
bad,
you guys...
too. All right, guys, let's just... Wait,
All right, we already did our Bills mock draft, but we can do it again.
Guys. That's just really bad. I like that one. It has us going to Mod Gardner. I like that one more though.
So the Miami
Sorry.
Heat show
I'm
a lot
sorry.
of promise.
I love the Heat. I'm happy with the Heat right now. I'm upset about the Suns blowing a 2-0 lead because Devin Booker's hurt right now, and I don't know what's like Chris Paul's great. Devin Booker's really good. So like, dear God, this series tied at 2-2.
But Miami though.
Miami's about
To give you a live score right now, it's 88-80 in favor of Miami in Miami. 5 minutes to go in the fourth. Miami's up 3-1 in the series. They can beat
game's
this.
in Atlanta.
It is in Atlanta.
Yeah, because it's game 4, so it's in Atlanta.
Okay.
Yeah. But still, either way, they're winning away.
They have the chance to clinch in 5.
Yeah, that's the one you need right there, basically.
Dallas Mavericks over the Utah Jazz right now, 3-2 in the series.
Yep.
They won yesterday, 102-77. Not even close from the start. There was an injection in the game on Luka Doncic that he definitely sold, I think.
Yeah,
I don't know if they called like the hand wrapping around his neck or whatever it was, but it was nothing worth an ejection, I don't think.
Dropped over 30, so I guess it didn't matter. He did what he needed to.
But at that point of the game, I mean, Utah was dead.
Yeah.
They were deader than
was
dead.
an unnecessary
deader than a
ejection.
doornail, so it really didn't even, have any effect on the game. I mean, if you want to look at a closer series, let's take a look at the Pelicans and the Suns. The Suns, who are on their revenge tour, that want to win the title this year for CP3, and I think all of America wants to see CP3
honestly,
go.
It's wild seeing, like, I think the Suns right now are like America's NBA team. If that makes sense.
That one team that hasn't got over the hump yet, that doesn't have their first title yet, and still wants to go in there and win it. We're still having technical difficulties back here.
You can't see it right
I
now.
apologize.
But dear God, oh my God, get it off, turn it off. Let's just go to a single camera. Just go to a single.
We're better off with the blank screen, honestly.
All right, so yes, no, I'm upset with the Suns right now because like, dude, the Pelicans have Brandon Ingram. Like they're good. They're a good young team. Dude, you should be DeAndre Ayton plus Chris Paul alone should be enough to beat.
They should be up 3-1.
It should be enough. Yeah, they lost the first game off of like some like flukes. That Chris Paul, DeAndre Ayton, and Mikal Bridges should be enough to beat the Pelicans.
Oh yeah.
They're like Devin Booker is hurt. Sure, like he is a great player. He's an all-star player. He's one of the
insane.
Best.
One of the best.
But that team without him should be enough to handle the Pelicans.
Yeah.
You put him against the Warriors. You put him against really any of these other like Western Conference teams besides maybe the Jazz, because like I think the Jazz are fake. I don't think the Jazz are real. Obviously,
they're always pretenders.
Yeah,
I feel like
they are, because like look at like Luka comes back and they lose, so it doesn't matter. Like it's just kind of what it is. But like no, losing by 15 to that Pelicans team is not good.
No, it's not.
DeAndre Ayton is doing what he does in the playoffs, and that's not a good thing.
Yeah.
It's annoying.
Game 5 is tonight, 10 p.m. Eastern time.
I'm going to be asleep, dude.
But I won't be watching because I will be, I'll be
want
dead
to
asleep
watch,
too,
but
probably.
like I won't. If they, what is it? It's 2. Yeah, no.
It's going to go on until 12:30.
I'll watch when it's an elimination game in that series.
But right now, in Game 5, still sticking in the East here, Memphis and Minnesota. Minnesota has the 85-74 lead right now at the end of quarter number 3. This series is tied 2-2. If Minnesota wins this one, they most likely win the series because it'll go back to Minnesota for Game 6. This one is in Memphis, so I don't know. 11-point lead. What are we thinking? Do they hold on to it? I honestly think that Minnesota has this one.
This might be the most entertaining series to watch because it's basically John Morant goes off or he doesn't. Because like no matter what, like either Karl Anthony Towns sucks and the Timberwolves lose, or Ja Morant goes off and the Grizzlies win.
It's just back and forth, inconsistent,
because
right?
like Anthony Edwards has played great every game. Anthony Edwards is making this a series, and it's crazy because he's young. Like that should be what Karl Anthony Towns is doing, and he's just not doing it. Karl Anthony Towns is arguably one of the worst. Like he's up there with DeAndre Ayton as one of the worst NBA playoff players. Anthony Edwards is carrying this team to life, and it's insane to watch. And basically, Ja Morant's doing the same thing with the Grizzlies because he is their superstar. Also, it's crazy that Ja Morant won Most Improved Player when he was the second overall pick when he got drafted.
I was going to say, he was already elite coming into the league.
Yeah, he was great in his rookie year, obviously. Won Rookie of the Year. Then he went in a down year, or if you're gonna consider it that. But then this year he was just insane.
Exploded.
So it's like, yeah, I guess, but like I don't know, dude. It's kind of like, you know what I mean? Like, okay.
And I'm gonna actually get this one right. James Harden and the Philadelphia 76ers. For some reason, I mix up KD and James Harden.
They're on the same team, so it's okay.
And I guess defense is kind of overrated when you're talking about both the two. So they're kind of similar with that. The Raptors are slowly but surely crawling back in this series. The Sixers lost big time. They had a chance to beat them in 5, and the Raptors came in on the road and won 103-88. This game wasn't even close, that outcome.
Dude, I don't know. I don't know what the Raptors are right now. I don't know. I
don't think they know what they are.
I don't, because I genuinely don't know. I'm a fake NBA fan right now because I genuinely don't know if I can name a player on the Raptors.
Well, ever since Kawhi Leonard left, it's kind of been a blank for me too.
Kawhi left, and then Kyle Lowry left.
Yep.
And I'm like, Kyle Lowry was the Raptors for me. Like I can picture.
Scotty Barnes.
Scotty Barnes. Rookie of the Year. Yeah, Scotty Barnes. Shout out to
Gary
Rookie
Trent
of the Year.
Jr.
He's on the Raptors.
Yep.
What the heck, dude? Oh my god.
He tallied 17 points the other night in Game 5.
I know. Pascal Siakam. Yeah, he's the one player I knew. Yeah. I'm sorry. Pascal Siakam was the one player I knew besides Scotty Barnes too. Besides that, couldn't name you a player. No, I don't know half these guys. For the most part, I know the majority of NBA rosters. Raptors are that one team where it's fell off once Kyle Lowry left, and I just stopped caring.
Yeah. When they lost their firepower from beyond the arc with guys like Lowry, it feels like the fans kind of forgot about them. But at least they had their moment in the sun in 2019.
Oh yeah.
And people do. You still have Golden State Warrior fans complaining. Well, half our team was injured. That's why Toronto.
It's Toronto.
Just let Toronto have this one. Just let Toronto have this one. They're the only team in Canada in the NBA. Just let them have that one.
Yeah.
But going into possibly the semifinals, is there really a lock for at least the Final Four or championship contender here?
I mean, at the moment, I'd give you the Warriors.
Warriors,
they lost
but this is a Warriors team that I actually enjoy watching. Yeah, not the super team Warriors.
Yeah, I'm cool with this because it's kind of wild. Watching Jordan. Also, Jordan Poole got robbed of Most Improved Player. By the way, I love Ja Morant. I have been on the record loving Ja Morant. My God, guys, I'm sorry. I can't. It's sorry, but no. Jordan Poole got robbed of Most Improved Player. By the way, let's just throw that one out there.
No matter what this stupid background is, I'm going to say this. The Phoenix Suns are my pick to win the NBA title this year. And I'm bad at predicting basketball games. And I didn't mean stupid. I just meant inaccurate because we're talking about NBA. So Fuller, easy. We're going to wrap this up and we're going to bring Fuller on in approximately a minute.
Give me the Heat and the Warriors.
I would actually love that.
That'd be fire.
Don't go away because we're going to have the right background on in just about a minute.
Did you know dragging chains can spark a wildfire?
Only you can prevent wildfires.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move. So I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
Happy to have Fuller on to talk some Formula One. Formula One! And what do you know? We have the right background up right now. Let's go. What do you know?
I would like to put all blame on this background on that stupid computer. But I would like to make one comment real quick. I'm saying Suns NBA. That's my pick as well.
Suns? Let's go. Bring it in here again. Let's go.
Of course.
Because we all want to see Chris Paul win his first title.
Exactly.
We feel bad for him.
Doesn't want that.
We just want to see that. How about the Grand Prix, jumping right into Formula One?
Of course.
How about Max Verstappen having his DNF in the last Grand Prix, finding his way again? But then also, Perez, another top 3 finish.
It wasn't just
Verstappen. This is huge for Verstappen, though.
Oh, this is huge for Red Bull as a whole.
Yep.
This race was my dream. I'm wearing a McLaren Formula One, wearing my Red Bull jacket. I had to, because this race was my,
represent, support.
So, Max Verstappen dominating this whole weekend, taking first in the sprint race. Charles Leclerc is putting up good fights, but never really being able to pass him. And just from the start, Max Verstappen took control. He never looked back. He got the full 26 points, which is the most he could possibly get during the Grand Prix. That was really good. Then Perez following right afterwards, that was fantastic. And Lando Norris picking up a P3. But how Lando Norris got the P3 is what's interesting. So, opening lap, the Red Bulls and the McLarens had really good starts. Noticeably good. Lando Norris had already passed Charles Leclerc for third, and both the Red Bulls were leading 1-2. Danny Rick was coming up on Carlos Sainz, who was sitting in P5, and Daniel Ricciardo was P6. And Daniel Ricciardo full on just got a little bit of oversteer, snap corrected it, and ended up ruining Carlos Sainz's race. Got him out at the first lap. Really unfortunate for Carlos in particular because he had just had another DNF.
Getting a little too aggressive there on the turns, right?
It was more Ricciardo getting too aggressive. I mean, it was technically Sainz's corner, I gotta admit, but it was a racing incident. I don't think any penalty should have come from it. And it ruined Ricciardo's race as well. Ricciardo finished at the end of everything 18th, the last finisher. So it's not like he didn't suffer the consequences as well. He basically DNF'd. He just got a little bit to testing.
Yeah, he was just down by a lap.
Yeah,
but he still finished the race.
He actually was the guinea pig in lap 20 of the race out of 61. About a third of the way in. He's the one who came in, and we had a wet start for the race, so we had intermediates to start, clearing the water off the track. And lap 20, Ricciardo came in. I think it was 18 or 19 actually that he came in. Got some dry tires on and put on some purple lap times past his sectors, and was able to really just show that the dry tire was the tire to be on at that time.
Right.
So that was huge, which led to a huge cascade of a lot of people coming into the pits. We saw incidents in the pit lane, such as Lewis Hamilton and Ocon both colliding. So Ocon got a 5-second penalty for that, and I believe that put him down a place or two. He definitely finished behind Lewis Hamilton, I think, because of that. I don't remember exactly if he passed him.
Yeah, he finished P14.
So yeah, definitely a disappointment for there. But what I can say is Mercedes looked bad.
Well, looking at this, outside of the one top 5 in Russell
looked good.
They did not have another Mercedes finisher until 13th, who was down by one whole lap.
Yeah, no, Lewis Hamilton had a rough time this go around. It was honestly shocking to see he got lapped by both the leaders. He just got stuck in a DRS-less train because the DRS was not enabled for a very long time for no reason. DRS, for those who are unaware, is drag reduction system. Basically, the rear wing opens up and allows the air to flow through easier, allowing cars to get higher top speeds. And because on wet conditions, the danger that it provides, it doesn't actually get enabled during those periods. But while the track was drying out, and while everyone was on dries for 5, 6, 7 laps easily, they had not enabled DRS. It was just kind of an odd decision. And it led to a lot of not that much overtaking, which was a little disappointing. But it's still, the race was awesome. I loved every second of it. There was great action. We also saw...
I was going to say one thing. The one thing that I took out of this Grand Prix was the lack of production from the Ferraris. Now, I don't know if that was caused by the wetness on the track or by the dry tires or wherever it was, but the top finisher for Ferrari was Leclerc, in
finished
P6.
So that was where I became a happy McLaren fan.
A very dominant team that really just didn't shine this
Yes. So what happened was during the dry stint, so we have the dry tires, I believe they all threw on mediums. Around lap 40 or so, I want to say they came in for softs, like 45. They all came in for softs, the top 3. So Verstappen, Perez, and Leclerc all came in for softs. Leclerc was catching Perez, and as he was trying to get DRS, he was trying to maintain within a second for DRS purposes, finally been enabled. He just took a turn too hard, cut in on a chicane, hit the sausage curb, and lost control and spun into the wall. He had to then come in, change his front wing, and went down to, I believe, P8 or P9.
Yeah, it took him completely off the pace.
And that was with 10 laps to go. I believe that was lap 50 or 51. And just left him stranded in P6. And what could have been...
Got him out of contention.
Could have been 15 points for Ferrari, which is a solid earned amount of points. That's nothing to scoff at, especially with a weekend as dominant as Red Bull has had.
And a team that usually puts up those numbers every single Grand Prix.
100%. They've been doing really good this season, so it was a very big disappointment. I was very surprised to see that. But Lando Norris was there to scoop up and capitalize on that mistake, get a solid podium. I was happy to see that in the cool down room, the 3 of them chilling, watching the how Leclerc fell apart. But I want to highlight a few people. Perez, awesome
Another
defender.
podium, yep.
Perez did everything he needed to. He kept Leclerc behind. He jumped in the pits before Verstappen as the guinea pig. Made the right calls he needed to by his team. Honestly, this was a highlight of Perez's weekend. He did amazing.
18 total points for Perez as well.
Norris, again, talked enough about him. Great. Picked up the scraps. Nothing really notable. Just ran a solid race.
Got a lot of points too with 15.
And Russell continued Mercedes' dominance of who was the top 4 teams by far. Red Bull, Ferrari, McLaren, Mercedes are the top 4.
Without a doubt.
Although McLaren, I think, has just found their stride. They really struggled the first 2 races. I do genuinely think that they are the 4th best team, or 3rd best, depending on how you look at it.
And what continues to happen is what I've noticed, Haas is continuing to struggle.
I don't know. Haas got 9th. That's pretty solid.
9th is okay. I mean, they still got 2 points, but that was their top finisher, 9th.
That's still good for Haas. I will say, Valtteri Bottas put on a clinic in that Alfa Romeo to get 10th. I mean, to get 10 points in 5th place.
Yeah.
So yeah, Valtteri Bottas killed it. I want to highlight
solid 10 points.
One last thing: Sebastian Vettel and Lance Stroll. Both the Aston Martin drivers scored points, which is huge for that team. That team has struggled so much this year. They have looked like one of the worst teams on the grid. I'm sure they're both wet weather drivers. I'm sure that helped a lot with qualifying and getting them that high up on the grid to start, because they have been sitting and getting out in Q1 consistently this year. But yeah, I've got to say, props to them. Kevin Magnussen actually is a funny story, though. I want to highlight him a little more. We talked about how he struggled. Kevin Magnussen had an awesome qualifying. Started, I believe, P4 or 5 in the sprint race this last weekend, which for the Haas is really, really solid. Then during the sprint race, he lost places, I believe, started P8. So really, he only lost a place during the race, which for him is solid, and especially compared to his teammate Mick Schumacher, who had a weekend he would like to forget quite heavily. Multiple spin outs during the race, finishing only ahead of Daniel Ricciardo on track. Not a weekend that Mick Schumacher is going to enjoy remembering. Yeah, honestly, is one of his worst F1 appearances.
He's definitely going to want to forget that one for sure.
I know he's only had a season and a bit, but yeah, no, not good. Other than that, I'd say I was surprised by Yuki Tsunoda outperforming Pierre Gasly. Yep. That was a solid. He finished P7, solid 6 points. Nothing really much to say about that. Pierre Gasly struggled. Williams were doing all right, but yeah.
I mean, takeaways from this Grand Prix. Number 1, Verstappen's back.
Verstappen is back. He's been back, and the team has been now back with him.
Yep, and he has a great team to back him up. Red Bull is climbing up in the standings. Ferrari, this might be a weekend that they may want to forget with a couple drivers, especially with Sainz finishing in last place. But we're moving on to Sunday, May 8th, where they come to the United States of America to race the Miami Grand Prix, and I think this is going to stink.
Yeah.
Just saying. This course looks absolutely terrible. You can take it away from here.
Yeah, no, it's not looking good. If anyone's ever been to Florida, you know one thing about it. It's flat as a pancake.
Yep.
There's no elevation change, and elevation change makes a great Formula One circuit.
And has the opportunity to be a monsoon. It
Yeah.
could downpour and rain.
Also, get this, they're racing around one of an stadium. They're racing around the Hard Rock Stadium where the Dolphins play.
On Don Shula Boulevard.
Which is not like, it's not like the Las Vegas Strip. It's not like we're getting a cool location. It's a parking lot for an NFL team that they're racing in. Let's be real.
They're racing in a parking lot.
Now, do I think this won't be at least somewhat interesting? Sure, it can be interesting. I'm glad that fans are getting involved. It'll be great to see a race in Florida, so close to the U.S., because we all know Miami isn't in the U.S. But yeah.
Northern Cuba?
Exactly.
Is that what we're saying?
But with this race going in, we've got Ferrari leading Red Bull by only 11 points.
Yeah, they're catching up.
That's a catchable amount. And then Mercedes is a solid third, with McLaren coming up in fourth, which everyone after McLaren is a very close fight. Anything can swing, so it's still a very interesting championship ahead of us. I want to make predictions for this next track. We have no basis to go off of.
So you want to do like a top three kind of thing?
I'm gonna think about my top three right here live on the spot. I'm saying that this circuit looks like it's gonna be good for. I'm gonna say Leclerc's finishing first. I'm gonna put Perez second, Sainz third.
Okay.
I'm giving the Spanish speakers a little bit of an edge here, just because.
Mine's a little bit different, but I do have Perez finishing first. I got Verstappen finishing second. And I'm going to go with Sainz finishing third.
I appreciate it. As a Sainz fan, I love it.
Go with that. So, thank you for coming on, as always. Always a pleasure.
It is always a pleasure.
And I don't know if you guys have missed this guy yet, but Topher is coming right back to talk some Major League Baseball, so stay tuned.
To Sofia and Gabriel, mis flores, my little flowers. Even though these old knees can't follow on your adventure to the forest today, these flowers represent my love, so you can take me with you wherever you go, near or far. These stitches and threads join us together. Me, your mother, and both of you. And wherever you see a flower, a bird, a beautiful tree, know that my love is with you as you bring our colorful stories to the world.
Make the forest part of your story at a park near you. Find one at discovertheforest.org.
We are happy to have Topher join us for the third time. The third time is an absolute charm, if you ask me.
Oh my God, yeah, at least the logo's there this time, guys.
We're here to talk some Angel Hernandez, Kyle Schwarber, New York Yankees, and the beloved and most hated, most despised Houston Astros. So we can start off with Kyle Schwarber and Angel Hernandez over on Sunday afternoon's game between the Milwaukee Brewers and the Philadelphia Phillies. I'm just going to say this right now. Angel Hernandez is a complete joke. He's a failure and should not get, the benefits to call another game behind home plate again. Or at first, or at second, or at third, or in the outfield.
So I learned this today. In theory, a umpire just needs to work a certain amount of games. It does not matter what, thing they are at. Throw that man at third base where you get the least amount of action as an umpire, and let it go.
Yep.
He's unionized, so he has to do his job.
He's been in the league for over 15 years.
Bro, but never let that man call a game again. For the love of all that is good in baseball, do not put that man behind home plate. And I think everyone just epitomized what Kyle Schwarber felt.
I mean, Joe West is retired. He's finally gone. No more Joe West. Thank God. But we still have Angel Hernandez. And what happened was 1-0 game. 1-run game, bottom of the ninth, one guy out already. It's a 3-2 count that would have walked Kyle Schwarber to put the tying run at first and the winning run at home plate. This ball was low and out of the zone.
And it was the same pitch
and he
twice.
punches him out.
It was the same pitch twice, dude. It was 2 outside sliders. He calls the first one a ball, and he called the second one literally
the same location.
It was the same pitch, and Joe Hader knew it. He knew it was the same pitch. Oh my God, I was watching this game because it was the free game on YouTube, and it was like, oh my God, you cannot be doing this.
You forced me to take pity on Joe Girardi?
It was, don't
Come on,
relax, bro. Joe doesn't need that kind of dude. Oh my God, Joe Hader knew. He knew it was a bad call, and he was just like graced with it.
Yeah.
Oh my God. It was
and then Philly fans waited till he left the parking garage at the stadium and booed him out of the, literally booed him out of the building.
They literally should. I don't blame them.
And what else can you really say? Angel Hernandez doesn't know what the strike zone is. Doesn't matter if you throw the same pitch back-to-back times. It's just inconsistent. With the Yankees, since we have about 4 minutes left, the Yankees, you were telling me a couple minutes ago that they were blowing the lead. It was 6-4. They're playing Baltimore right now. The Yankees blew it open.
They boosted it back up.
They blew it open, top of the 8th.
I was scared.
It's 10-4. 10-4.
So, like, I don't think it's Sevy's fault. So I'm assuming I'm really hoping that they pulled Sevy, which also, like, worries me because, like, the bullpen was the best part of this team. So, like, I don't know what to feel right now. Like, I didn't see if, like, I mean, I have to look now.
Baltimore has 1 runner on second with 1 out in the top of the 8th.
I just need to know, did Sevy? Oh, Sevy blew it. Oh. See, okay, so the bullpen still is the best part of this team, which is crazy because like they're scoring double digits in the past.
And their starting record right now is 10-6.
It's actually nice to be a Yankees fan in the beginning of the year for once. Like,
I have to ask you the question though.
Yeah.
Miles Straw, what did you think about that situation where the Yankee fans were throwing literal trash at former Astro Miles Straw?
Look,
and he had to climb the fence to tell him to stop.
Look, I am a Western New York Yankees fan. We are Bills fans down here, so we understand. Like, you may not like us, but like, Bills fans don't do that. So like, I'm a Western New York Yankees fan. I would never throw anything at a player, but like also, a player should not be climbing the wall. Yeah. So it's like, it was bad on both sides. Yeah, like I don't claim those Yankees fans. Like, yes, like Yankees fans are huge. So like, I don't have to claim all of them. Those are bad Yankees fans, and like I will admit those are bad Yankees fans.
It was after a walk-off win. It's not like they lost the game.
Exactly. It was uncalled for. Like, it was absolutely uncalled for. But like, hey.
But you know, hot start for them. They should be excited because I think they're at they're in second. They're behind the Blue Jays.
The Blue Jays are just stupid.
Bo Bichette is just tearing the cover off the ball.
Dude, it's
Vladimir
stupid.
Guerrero's great. George Springer's great. They're all very good.
I don't want to talk about the Blue Jays, dude. Okay, like they're good.
If you don't
they're
want to talk
really
about
good.
Them, they are good. But if you don't want to talk about the Jays, we can always talk about the Houston Astros, who are allergic to winning games in April.
Yeah, dude,
but
that's bad.
I'm counting down the days till May because that's when they turn it around, and then May, June through July they suck so much in August, and then they turn it around in September right before the playoffs.
Yeah, you guys are actually.
They're 7-9 right now. They lost to the Texas Rangers last night because freaking what's his name? Who's the pitcher? Phil Maton blew it last night.
He did.
Ryan Stanek gave up a bases loaded clearing double to Adolis Garcia to make it 6-2. Astros are actually up in the top of the 6th right now, 5-1 over the Rangers with runners at the corners with 2 outs.
The Rangers. I hope they're up.
I will be happy and jump up and down about this win because Jake Odorizzi was the starting pitcher.
That's scary. That's
a guy
scary
who can't
start.
win anything if he tried his hardest.
It's really bad, dude. And he's like, what is he?
He's number 5th pitcher in the rotation. 6-man rotation.
Is he your 5th? I was gonna say.
Because they threw Christian Javier. He's pitching tomorrow. They threw Javier in the starter spot. He's going to be the 6th pitcher.
Okay.
But the score is 5-1. Astros have 5 hits to Texas's 1 hit. So they have 5 runs on 5 hits. Texas has 1 run on 1 hit, which came from a solo homer. Why are we still pitching to Adolis Garcia? He is the new Albert Pujols to the Houston Astros.
He's kind of just like your kryptonite because like he's not that good. Like, let's be honest with ourselves. Adolis Garcia's old and he's not that good. Like, he's been in the league a while, and for some reason he's just hitting really good off of you guys.
He's great again. I mean, the Astros have a history of random players tearing up against
really
them.
true.
Akil Baddoo with the Detroit Tigers, Albert Pujols for the longest time since the days of Brad Lidge in 2005 when he hit the ball, cracked the glass
he
over the train tracks over at Minute Maid Park in 2005. That was a huge moment. And then you have Adolis Garcia.
Yeah, then like Todd Frazier, who really got well.
Frazier and Kyle Seager. Thank God he's retired.
Yeah,
I was so sick and tired
Todd
of seeing
Frazier was
him.
really good against like what 2017, like this. Like,
Clint Frazier too.
Clint Frazier. I'm sorry. Yeah, both
Clint
of
Frazier.
them. Actually, both of them for some reason were really good against you guys in the playoffs.
But Houston's 7-9 right now. They still have 149 games to go. If I'm doing that math correctly.
Way too early.
You guys gotta stop hitting the panic button. But these wins, you should be able to beat. You should be able to sweep Texas. Come on. They're the second best team in the state of Texas.
That's how I feel about the Orioles games.
Yeah.
Also, hey, shout out to the Mariners leading the West right now.
Yeah.
We love to see it.
It could happen because they have that extra wild card spot, so they should be able to go to the playoffs. But who knows? That's what everyone calls America's team. So, Topher, thanks for coming on for this third time. Angel Hernandez, you're garbage. Please retire.
Shout out to Kyle Schwarber, man.
Shout out to Kyle Schwarber,
America's player,
for being a real homie and spiking his helmet down and not getting suspended for it. So shout out to you, and we will see you next week, same time, same place, right here at Hendricks Hall. So on behalf of myself, come back next week.
Season finale.
Season finale. God bless.